Pinnacle Sports is rated A+ by SBR. Click on their logo to find out why. Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is the Monday, right after the round of 62 in the NCAA Tournament just finished. So we are talking with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, taking a look back at the first two rounds, or the first three rounds, and taking a look ahead to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, and Futures Odds. Joe, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, quick plug. The Midwest is what we're going to talk about now, the most interesting by far bracket of all of the tournament. We'll talk about it in a second. Give a quick plug for OffshoreInsiders.com before we get into it.
Tracing our roots back to the score phone days of 1988, Joe Duffy's picks 5-1 in the NCAA tournament with our highest rated wise guy. Plays NBA. We're doing well in baseball just around the corner. We love those underdog small favorite winners. OffshoreInsiders.com.
Okay, sounds good. The Midwestern bracket. Joe, I'll tell you what, in my heritage bracket, I did in fact have Kentucky getting past Wichita State in my bracket. So I'm very, very proud of that. Nice call, right, Joe Duffy? Right? Give me some props. Give me some props.
No, fantastic call. And remember in our videos, I said that I love these freshman-laden teams in March. They're supposed to peak late, and that's what Kentucky's doing.
But I also had Texas going deep, and one of my deepest teams in the bracket was also Duke. I did not have Mercer beating Duke. I did not have. I had Duke going deep, 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 deep. So that kind of balances it out. So I think overall I did okay, but Duke was obviously a very shitty team to pick going deep. First, let's start. Let's just review this. You know, Wichita State out early, Duke out early. Does either of those surprise you?
Now, and Wichita State and Kentucky, that was one heck of a game. I know that, you know, a lot of the naysayers, in fact, my BFF was in town. He's an SEC guy. He was ripping on Wichita State. The bottom line is Wichita State played very well, and they played against a young team that is peaking. The Harrington brothers are playing great. Kentucky, they are loaded. And as I said, you know, when you recruit these one-and-done guys, it's not to win games in November, December, or even January. It's to peak in March. And that's what's happening. And that was one heck of a game. I did say, you know, when I was on here with Troy, he did say that Wichita State, let's give him credit. He said Wichita State was going to go out early. I said at the end of the day, if I had to single out which number one team was going to go out early, it would be Wichita State. But at the same time, I don't think they were quite as much of a paper tiger as other people said. And I don't think they should really hang their head low. They played a heck of a game, and they lost to a talented young team that's peaking in March as they're supposed to.
All right. Well, I picked Kentucky over Wichita State, so I have the authority to comment on this. Yeah, I mean, basically the deal is if you see a team from one of these mid-major conferences that hasn't played a tough schedule and they're going up against a team like Kentucky that's maybe underachieved a little bit but has a ton of talent, you always want to lean towards taking the team like Kentucky. But when it comes to the Duke game, I am not an authority. I had Duke going deep. I was completely wrong. What do you have to say about Duke's early exit?
Yeah, again, it wasn't a shocker. I did not touch that game, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert afterwards. But when I was advising some of my friends on their brackets, I don't like to do brackets and features because I think it can bias me for making adjustments round by round. But I was telling people to not have Duke going too deep. I didn't predict that upset. But no, Duke was a team that it just really wasn't their year. It was they were a solid team. So I'm not saying that I had Mercer beating them, but I didn't think that Duke was going to go all that deep.
I just thought I saw a team, their weakness was on defense, and in the tournament sometimes defense means a little bit less. What they did have was a good offense led by a star player, Jabari Parker, so I figured they'd ride Parker and their offense to be able to outscore most of the teams in the early round. That's why I thought they were going to go deep, but couldn't even get by Mercer. I was wrong. All right, it happens. So let's look at the rest of the teams, and Louisville is the clear favorite, right? Currently at Pinnacle, they are minus 108 to win the Midwest. The second choice is Michigan, all the way down at plus 360. Then Tennessee at plus 450 and Kentucky at plus 500. What do you think of Louisville at minus 108?
Yeah, again, at Kentucky, what do we keep talking about? I was talking about it earlier in this video. They're a very young team. Julius Randle, who had a sloppy year. He showed that he certainly has some weaknesses. He's getting it together. The Harrison twins are peaking for Kentucky. I think they're getting dissed here. Kentucky is one heck of a long shot. And remember, people who don't believe it, go back, watch the SBR videos. If you didn't see it, I said that Tennessee very well could be the next LaSalle, Virginia Commonwealth type team. They lost so many, 11 of their 12 losses this year were by single digits. But on the other hand, their last 11 wins were by 13 or more. Now, they had the one deceptive game where they did win in overtime, where they won by, 13 in overtime. But they've been blowing teams out. And almost every loss this year was close. So Tennessee is a legitimate dark horse team. They're not surprising me at all. I said this here on SBR Forum. But Kentucky, I think, is getting dissed. As I said, they're built for March, and they're doing what they're supposed to do.
All right, but then again, Louisville is not one of these Wichita State teams. Louisville has repeatedly played, tough competition all year long. This year, last year, this is not a team that's going to be seeing anything new when they go up against, Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, any of these teams.
Yeah, well, they did win the national title, so you can't argue with this team's resume. But according to the Ken Palm, who I think has the best strength of schedule out there, he had Louisville only with the 102nd strength of schedule this year to compare to Kentucky's 6th. Now, I don't know, maybe, looking it over, it didn't look like it was as big of a gap as maybe he says. But yeah, you can't argue with the defending national champion in the Sweet 16 again. And, whether you like the John Calipari's and not to Rick Pitino, both of these coaches, they may not be the most trustworthy guys in the world, but they can coach basketball. So they both got great coaches, and how can you argue with a national champion in the Sweet 16?
All right, well, Kentucky's getting 5 points against Louisville in the Sweet 16 game. Do you think that has some value, maybe even on the money line or on the spread?
Yes, absolutely. And when I do like to take chances on teams on the money line, they can be those erratic teams, the teams that can play up or down. But again, a team like Kentucky, they're going to play the worst basketball at the beginning of the year. I would not be shy. In fact, I'm going to call it an upset. We are going to have Kentucky will win the Bluegrass battle and advance.
All right, yeah, this Kentucky-Louisville game definitely has written all over like either Kentucky wins the game or they get blown out, and so probably play on the Kentucky money line might have some value. But all right, let me pin you down. Odds to win the Midwest region: Michigan plus 360, Louisville minus 108, Kentucky plus 500, Tennessee plus 450. What's your pick at those odds?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go, since I said before on these videos that Tennessee was going to be the next LaSalle or the next VCU. Of course, LaSalle didn't wind up going to the Final Four, but I'm going to go with the long shot on Tennessee.
All right. Great preview, great insights. As always, Joe Duffy. Thanks.